A positive book about a life well lived despite circumstances. We're glad that you're here. My next author is J.C. Sharp. He wrote the book, I'm Most Anxious for My Death. Yes, this is a positive, encouraging book. Welcome, JC. We're glad that you're here.
Thank you kindly.
I have to ask you first, as we look at the title, I'm Most Anxious for My Death. That word anxious, is that in anticipation of your death or anxious as in nervous?
Probably nervous. I'm not trying to push the end of it, but if it should come in the next 24 hours, I'm ready. So
So a little of both, a little bit of anticipation as well.
yes, yes,
It's a provocative title
it is. It was
for
meant to
sure.
be that.
It is meant to be. You got us hooked right away.
Stop the people walking down an aisle; they'll spot it.
Yes, it does. I'm most anxious for my death. I've got to read this.
Thank you.
Share it with us about the general message. What are you trying to relay in this?
Uh, get the most out of life you can possibly get. There's not that many years left. Uh, I, I I found an item that interested me. It says, life is like a roll of toilet paper. The closer to the end, the faster it goes.
That's great.
Never got that.
That's really funny. That's so true. The days go by so slow, but the years go by so fast, don't they?
Absolutely, they sure do.
Did you have a good life? Are you having a good life?
I believe I am, yes. I've had a wonderful life. My wife and I are 2 years away from hitting 60 years marriage.
Oh, wonderful.
Uh, it's just been bliss and blessed.
What brought you to write this at this time? I mean, maybe you have a lot of years left.
Uh, well, I'm 80, coming up on 81.
Mhm,
Historically, I would say it's not going to be more than 9 years, at
mhm,
least in our family. So, but I'll make the best of it. I guarantee you that.
mhm. Although you did share that you've got some family members much older than that.
That I do. I have two or three that are over 100.
Wow.
So
Wow.
it runs in the family, but I'm not sure whether I'll be a member of that family.
You may have to do a second book.
It could
I'm
be.
still anticipating my death. Right? So, share with me about your childhood, since this book is a lot about you and being a very positive, encouraging person, even though circumstances haven't always been that for you.
Right. Well, both my parents worked. My father was a manager of the Western Union. My mother worked for a newspaper company. So I was pretty much left on my own to raise myself.
Hmm.
But the one thing that I bless them for is they put me into the YMCA. And I can honestly say I was raised by the YMCA,
Wow.
both in at the YMCA itself, the swimming pool there, summer camp. I went the entire summer, 5 semesters, if you will, of summer day camp. And the YMCA is actually what raised me and gave me my thoughts and drive to do the best you can, to be honest, to never lie, and to be blessed with what you have.
Hmm. Had a big impact.
It did. It really did. It raised me.
Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting. So it's a big variety. Basketball, pool, I mean, just all the different elements that they offered. That was a real big gift to you. That's
Yeah,
great to
I
hear.
spent my entire summers with the YMCA, taking every opening they had. So it'd like be
Mm.
5 times I would be going in the summer, and my parents just loved it because they didn't have to worry about me.
Sure, they knew you were in good hands
Absolutely.
physically and emotionally and mentally, even spiritually, right? Was
Yes,
there a foundation of faith with that?
yes, there was. It was in the program, so we were taught to be honest with what we did, how we did it, and to thank
Mm,
to thank the
mm,
people around us for shedding a little bit of light on a different perspective that they might have than what you have.
hmm.
So
What were some of your trials growing up in your lifetime? Not necessarily growing up, even in adulthood.
I really didn't have an awful lot of trials except growing up a lot without my parents being there all the time. My father was an alcoholic.
Oh,
My mother was working to death at the Bethlehem newspapers office where she was working on the line.
mm,
So she came home pooped every day, and
sure.
I'd leave school and walk across to meet her at the newspaper company. It was about 4.5 miles.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, it was a long walk. Uh,
Yeah.
I'd get there just in time for my father to pick us up and bring us back home. So
Oh, gosh.
a very shaky childhood, but the YMCA made it correct.
What a great story. Let's talk about your ancestry a little bit.
I've traced my ancestry back to 1223,
Wow.
Archbishop James Sharp, and he was the Archbishop of Peeblesshire, Scotland.
My goodness. You're
1220.
royalty, JC.
I was fascinated with my ancestry, and I had to do it. I've done it a couple times, and it's great.
Isn't it cool? I mean, living 80, 81 years, how much has changed in the world of technology that we're able to do this? I mean, to spit in a little file and vial and find out how
Yeah,
far back you can go to really trace. It's amazing. You've seen a lot of
Ancestry.
changes in your life.
It
Yeah.
does. Ancestry.com is fantastic for
Yeah.
anybody that wants to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you hope that someone who reads your book, what do you hope that they feel or think?
Uh, well, I hope they can see it from two sides, and it's not all grim. So it's equally balanced as to pleasure and uh, what's ahead of you. We're all
Mhm.
going to end up in that same pot. So it's an equally balanced book, and I think I've hit all the issues with an open mind.
Do you feel like someone who's just kind of starting out in the life, mid to late 20s, trying to figure things out, do you think that you've got a little bit of a roadmap there and some wisdom nuggets?
I think I did. Like I said, my parents both worked full time, and actually, when I got out of high school, I went to work full time with the Western Union Telegraph Company.
Mhm.
So I have been working full time my entire life. But I did find room to meet my beautiful wife, and we've been married 58 years.
Let's talk about that. How did you meet her?
I met her at the swimming pool.
Okay.
She was in charge of the ladies' changing area.
Okay.
She didn't like smokers, and I was a smoker. So she came out and laid down next to me and decided to rip open a whole entire pack of cigarettes and dump them on the side on the ground. So
And you said, "That's a feisty one. I want her to be the mother of my children."
yes, ma'am, I sure did.
That's awesome.
And this is great.
Oh, that's wonderful. What's a piece of advice for being together this long?
Put her first,
Hmm.
mentally, and be careful how you phrase things because they can, if they slip out, they're going to hurt if they're not done properly.
Yeah, yeah.
But we've
So
always had a good deal.
that's really great. I love that. So let's talk about your time working for National Security Agency. That's really, boy, not every author I talk to, we can go down this road.
Yeah, I had 46 years with them.
Wow.
Most of it was in telecommunications.
Okay.
And during those 46 years, I was able to go to 78 foreign countries,
Oh,
uh,
wow.
which I mean is just amazing.
Yeah.
And I, uh, I was more shocked in the last 5 weeks than I have ever been to find out that there is no our our aviation industry does not have a checklist for no flies. These are
Really?
people that are criminals, drug dealers. They don't have a fly list. And what I was even more surprised with, foreign countries do, they share among themselves overseas because they have a lot of
Mm,
foreign problems with
sure.
people. We don't. And yet, I've been working with the aviation people, the director of the aviation corporations, trying to get them to get off their tush and listen up and create a don't fly list.
Hmm.
It,
Well, they should listen to you because you come with a lot of experience. I mean, you had a hand in helping with the evidence analysis team of the Iran-Contra investigation.
I did. We went through 256,000 documents trying to find out if the White House had any involvement at all. And this was mandated by Congress. So I had a team of about 23 people. We had many times working 7 days a week, sleeping in the uh, offices of the seniors in the White House annex. So we'd draw up and it would save us 2 hours of travel. So,
Sure.
up and back.
Wow.
But it was a fantastic experience. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
What a life. 78 different countries, married 60 something years.
Yep.
What a wonderful book. JC, we've got to bring this interview to a close. I'm most anxious for my death. JC Sharp, we want to thank EC Publishing for making this interview possible. And your book is available where most books are. Is that right? Amazon and
Amazon.
Mhm.
And the other book I have is The Barns of Southern Maryland, which has just been rated with 5 stars from Amazon. So it's a history of the Barns. And well, and
I
I
bet
think
the pictures are beautiful.
they are.
Yeah.
They are.
Yeah. 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 Well, thank you for joining us, and maybe we will talk again.
I
And bless you, JC. Have a great
Same to
day.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.